You say you want grit. You say you're hungry. You say you're tired of being stuck, tired of being broke, tired of being forgotten, tired of being average. But the truth is, you're not tired enough yet. You're not desperate enough yet. Because if you were, you'd stop making excuses and start making changes. You'd stop talking about what you want and start moving like your life depended on it. Because it does. Too many of you got one foot in and one foot out. You're kind of committed. You're sort of grinding. You're halfway invested. You say you want it, but you're keeping your options open. You keep a safety net. You keep a fallback. You keep a just in case it doesn't work out. Let me be real with you. As long as you've got a plan B, your plan A will never work. As long as you give yourself permission to quit, you'll never fight hard enough to win. That's not hunger. That's not sacrifice. That's not beast mode. That's bargaining. That's hesitation. And hesitation kills dreams. When you go beast mode, there is no alternative. There's no exit door. There's no parachute. It's win or die. It's succeed or bleed. It's make it or break forever. That's the level of commitment it takes. You have to decide with everything in you that there's no turning back, that you've burned the bridge, that you're not checking behind you, that you're not waiting for someone to rescue you. You rescue yourself. You show up. You lock in. You go so deep into your grind that failure would have to break every bone in your body to stop you. You want to know why some people make it and others don't? It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's because the ones who make it decided they were going to make it. Period. And they closed every door except the one in front of them. They deleted every excuse. They shut out every distraction. They made a choice to keep moving even when nothing was working. And that choice was made not once, but every single day. You think the champions felt ready every morning. You think the warriors of this world always felt strong, always felt confident, always felt prepared. No, they just showed up anyway. They showed up when it hurt. They showed up when it was dark. They showed up when everyone else left. That's commitment. That's the mentality of someone who doesn't hope to win. They refuse to lose. Some of you are still keeping that backup plan close. You say things like, if this doesn't work out, I can always stop right there. That mindset is the disease. That's the voice that keeps you average. You've got to cut that out. Cut it off, erase it, because that voice is what's holding you hostage. As long as failure is an option, you won't give everything. And success demands everything, not 80%, not 90%. Not, I'll try for a few months. It wants blood, sweat, focus, energy. Sanity, it wants all of you. The problem is most of you have never gone all in. You've never truly committed. You dabble. You flirt with your goals. You work hard for a week, maybe two. Then you coast. Then you fall off. Then you make promises you never keep. You let comfort talk you out of effort. You let distractions steal your focus. You treat your dream like a hobby and then wonder why it doesn't pay you like a career. I've got news for you. Beast mode is not a switch. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's waking up every day and saying, this is who I am. I don't negotiate with my grind. I don't compromise with my dream. I'm not hoping to win. I'm determined to dominate. It's waking up and refusing to settle. Refusing to accept a mediocre life when you know there's more in you. It's staring down your own doubts and saying, you don't own me. I own you. No plan B means you get creative. You get desperate. You get resourceful. You stop waiting on the perfect time. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop blaming the system, your past, your parents, your circumstances. You say, I am the system. I build my future. No excuses. No whining. No safety nets. Just work, just faith, just relentless pressure against your own limits. When you cut the plan B, everything changes. You wake up different. You train different. You listen different. You hustle that your time becomes sacred. Your energy becomes focused. You no longer tolerate lazy days. You no longer make room for weak people in your circle. You cut off everything that doesn't push you forward. Because when it's life or death, when this is the only way, you get stronger, you get sharper. You find gears you didn't even know you had. And don't get it twisted. Going all in doesn't mean it's going to be fast. It doesn't mean it gets easier. It means you're willing to suffer longer than most are willing to try. It means you're willing to stay broke longer, grind harder, and believe deeper. It means you choose progress over comfort every single day. It means the people around you might doubt you, laugh at you, leave you, but that doesn't shake you. Because you're not doing this for applause. You're doing this for purpose, for legacy, for every time you were overlooked, For every time they told you, you can't, you're doing it because you made a vow to yourself that you'd never go back, never fold, never settle. You want to know what separates the dreamers from the doers? Commitment. Total no excuse. The boat cut the rope commitment. The doers don't sit around waiting for perfect moments. They create them. They go first. They try again. They push past tired. They operate in beast mode. They bet the house on themselves. They live in the pressure. They rise in the chaos. They smile in the fire. They look failure in the face and say, "You're not stronger than my will," because that's what this is about. It's not just about talent. It's about the decision. The decision to go all in. The decision to say, I'm not playing both sides. I'm not chasing this halfway. This is it. This is the mission. This is the path. And there is no other way. The decision to lock the door, throw away the key, and grind until there's no doubt who you are. You were never meant to blend in. You were built to break through, but not with half effort, not with a backup plan. Only when you commit, when everything you have all. You keep asking why it hurts, why it's hard, why it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world and nothing's breaking your way. But let me ask you this. When did you decide that pain was the enemy? Who told you that just because it hurts, it's wrong? That discomfort means failure. That struggle means stop. That mindset right there is the difference between those who rise and those who stay broken. Pain is not your punishment. Pain is your passport. It's the tool life uses to shape you, test you, harden you, stretch you, awaken you. You want to become something you've never been. Then you have to go through something you've never faced. You have to feel something deeper than comfort. Growth never comes wrapped in convenience. Evolution doesn't knock politely. It drags you, crushes you, exposes you, then hands you a mirror and says, now build yourself from the ground up. You say you want strength, but you run from the resistance. You say you want power, but you avoid pressure. You want results, but you don't want the process. And the process is pain. The process is sacrifice, exhaustion, doubt, and darkness. It's waking up sore. It's working while you're broke. It's fighting when you're tired. It's showing up when no one's clapping, when no one sees, when no one understands, and doing it anyway. That's pain. But that's also where beasts are born. Nobody becomes unbreakable without first being broken. Nobody becomes fire without going through flames. Everybody wants the glory, but nobody wants the grind. But the grind is where it all lives. That's the classroom. That's where you meet the version of yourself that's been buried under fear, under weakness, under every excuse you've ever made. That pain you feel, it's not there to stop you. It's there to introduce you to the savage inside, the warrior, the survivor. The one who doesn't need applause, approval, or permission, just purpose. And here's the truth. Pain doesn't go away, not for champions, not for underdogs, not for anyone who wants more out of life. The difference is warriors use it. They don't flinch. They don't complain. They lean in. They say, this pain, this is fuel. This is sharpening me. This is making me dangerous, because pain creates clarity. Pain removes distractions. When you're in pain, your vision gets tunnel. Your priorities get real. You don't have time for doubt, for fear, for hesitation. You just move, you adapt, you survive, you fight. Comfort creates confusion. Pain creates purpose. When everything is easy, you lose your edge. But when it's hard, when it hurts, you remember why you started. You remember what's at stake. You remember what you're fighting for. Pain forces you to tap into levels of grit, discipline, and heart that you never would have accessed in a comfort zone. It pulls greatness out of you. Not gently, not politely, but violently, relentlessly. And that's the only way true transformation happens. Stop waiting for the struggle to end. Stop praying for it to get easier. Pray to get stronger. Pray for endurance. Pray for resilience. Because this world is not soft. It will not hand you your dream with a bow on top. It will put you in a storm, strip you down, isolate you, break your ego, crush your timing, and then ask, do you still want it? That's pain talking. That's life checking your resolve. And you either rise or fold. Pain is also the best teacher you'll ever have. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't care about your excuses. It shows you exactly where you are and exactly what needs to change. It's honest, brutal, necessary. The ones who avoid pain avoid growth. The ones who numb it, run from it, complain about it, they stay stuck. But the ones who accept it, who lean into it, who say, all right, let's go. Those are the ones who evolve. You keep waiting for the moment when it won't hurt anymore. But let me tell you something, they don't come. It always hurts. It just hurts less when you know what the pain is doing. It just hurts less when you stop fearing it and start respecting it. When you realize that every painful rep in the gym, every early morning you don't want to face, every lonely night grinding while everyone else is sleeping, that's all sharpening you. That's all chiseling away the weakness. That's all preparing you for war. Pain separates the talkers from the doers. Everybody's motivated when it's fun. Everybody's locked in when it's easy. But when it's painful, when your body aches, when your heart breaks, when your bank account's empty and your support system disappears, now we see who's real. Now we see who's built for this. That's what beast mode is. It's not motivation. It's not hype. It's not energy. It's a decision to stand tall when everything inside you screams, sit down. It's a choice to rise through pain, not run from it. The pain is where you find your character. The pain is where you separate yourself. And the pain is where you finally meet the version of you that stops making excuses and starts making history. You want the success. You want the spotlight. You want the respect, the applause, the freedom, the lifestyle. You want the dream. But the problem is you haven't earned it yet. You haven't put in the type of work that says, this belongs to me. You haven't paid the full price. And until you do, it won't show up because life doesn't give trophy for intentions. It gives rewards for discipline, consistency, and sacrifice. It gives rewards to those who earn it. You think wanting it is enough. Wanting it doesn't make it yours. Wanting it doesn't build empires. Wanting it doesn't make the bank account rise, the body transform, the business explode, the dream become real. Everyone wants, but not everyone works. Not everyone earns. Not everyone pays the cost because the cost is heavy. The cost is real. The cost is giving up comfort, sleep, ego, and distractions. The cost is doing what most won't. That's what separates the hungry from the hopeful. You keep talking about how much you want it, but what are you doing about it? Are you showing up earlier? Are you staying later? Are you saying no to the things that waste your time? Are you cutting off everything that doesn't serve the vision? Or are you just talking? Because talking is easy. Everybody can talk. But when it's 4 a.m. and the alarm hits, that's when we find out if you're serious. When it's raining and cold and your body aches, that's when we find out who's real. When nobody's clapping, when nobody's supporting you, when you're still broke and tired and unsure, that's when we find out if you earn it. There are no shortcuts. There are no hacks. You want the top, then climb. And not once, every day, over and over. You get up, you grind, you fall, you bleed, and you get back up again. That's how you earn your spot. That's how you show the world you deserve it. There's no entitlement in greatness. You're not owed anything just because you've suffered. You're not owed results just because you tried hard once. The world doesn't care about your almost. The world responds to execution. You say you've been through a lot. Good, that's your story. That's your armor. That's your fire. Use it, channel it, let it fuel you. But don't use it as an excuse to stay stuck. You don't get a crown just because life knocked you down. You get a crown because you stood back up with fire in your eyes and said, I'm still here and I'm not leaving until I get what I came for. That's how beasts move. They don't beg, they build. You want the results of champions, then live like a champion, train like one, think like one, work like one, study like one, sleep like one, carry yourself like one before anyone else sees it. You don't need a title to work like a king. You don't need a crowd to perform like a warrior. You don't need a paycheck to grind like a CEO. You ER in the title first. You build the value. You sharpen the blade. Then, when the opportunity comes, you're not lucky. You're ready. Too many people walk around waiting to be discovered, waiting for someone to give them a shot, waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right opportunity. But beasts don't wait. They prepare. They grind in the shadows. They build silently, knowing that when the door cracks open, they're going to kick it in. They don't just ask for the spot. They become the only logical choice because the work speaks so loud that the world can't ignore it. If you want to win, then outwork everyone. Not just today, every day. Outwork them when it's easy. Outwork them when it's hell. Outwork them when you're all down, when you're bored, when you're tired. Outwork them when no one's looking. That's how you get separation. That's how you widen the gap between you and everyone still making excuses. The ones who stay on top are the ones who never stop doing the small things, the unsexy things, the hard things. There's no room for ego in the process. You can't think you've arrived just because you've done something good once. You're not done. You're not finished. You're not entitled to rest. There's always someone hungrier, someone training harder, someone who wants your spot. That's why you can't let up. That's why you can't coast. The grind never ends. And if you don't stay sharp, someone else will take what you didn't protect. You've got to be obsessed with getting better. You've got to fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the early mornings, the late nights, the grind, the setbacks, the do-overs, the pain, the sweat, the repetition. Fall in love with getting up and giving more than you did yesterday, even when no one notices, even when nothing changes. That's where your power comes from. Your ability to keep earning day after day, long after the hype fades. You think champions are lucky. Champions are consistent. They earn their spot daily. They don't get caught up in past victories. They don't sit on the throne and get lazy. They know the throne can be pulled out from under them if they stop earning it. So they keep sharpening, keep grinding, keep pushing. That's how legacies are built, not on one big moment, but on thousands of unseen, brutal, disciplined days. And let's get this straight. Earning your spot doesn't mean waiting for someone to validate you. You validate yourself with the work, with the focus, with the way you carry yourself. You walk into the room like you belong because you've bled for it. You've studied, you've sacrificed, you've prepared. That's confidence. Not fake, not loud, not arrogant, but earned. You don't need to talk when your actions have already spoken volumes. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to open the door for you. Break the door down if you have to. You don't need the position to act like you own it. Start leading before anyone calls you a leader. Start dominating before anyone calls you elite. That's how you earn it. You grind first. You transform first. Then the world catches up and says, yeah, that one's different. But by then, you're already 10 steps ahead, already focused on the next level, already climbing again. Because once you've earned your spot, you realize how dangerous it is to stop moving. So you keep going, no matter what. Greatness doesn't answer to wishes. It doesn't respond to intentions. It doesn't show up because you have talent. Talent is common. Drive is not. Discipline is not. And sacrifice is rare. You keep asking how to be great. You keep looking for strategies, secrets, short-term hacks. But the answer is right in front of you. And it's been the same since the beginning of time. Sacrifice. What you're willing to give up will determine what you're able to rise into. The great don't do more by chance. They become more by choice. They sacrifice comfort. They sacrifice distraction. They sacrifice things people call normal because they're not chasing average. They're chasing immortal. You can't hold on to everything and expect to rise. You can't want comfort and greatness in the same breath. One of them has to go. One of them has to die. And too many people are stuck right there in the middle, wanting the rewards of sacrifice without actually sacrificing anything. You want the body, but you don't want to give up the food. You want the business, but you won't give up the weekends. You want the discipline, but you won't give up the laziness. You want the life, but you won't give up the lifestyle. That's not how this works. The universe has a ledger. It keeps track. What you put in, you get back. What you sacrifice, you collect in return. And when it sees you're still trying to hold on to every piece of your old life, it knows you're not ready for the next one. Sacrifice isn't a punishment. It's a process. It's the fire that purifies. It's what clears out the noise, the weakness, the excuses. You don't rise until something falls. And that something might be your ego. It might be your fear. It might be your comfort. But it will cost you something. You think legends are made without trade-offs. You think Kobe got to the league and stayed there because he was talented. No. He was up at 4 a.m. every day while others slept. He sacrificed sleep. He sacrificed parties. He sacrificed anything that didn't serve the obsession. And that's the word you're afraid of. Obsession. You've been told it's unhealthy. You've been told to be balanced, but greatness isn't balanced. Greatness demands you go all in, that you burn the ships, that you lock in so hard, people question your sanity. Because what they call crazy, history remembers as greatness. You've got to make decisions other people won't. You've got to live in a way most people can't understand. Sacrifice isn't sexy. It doesn't look good on social media. It's quiet. It's painful. It's lonely. It's saying no to things that used to feel good because now they feel like distractions. It's missing out on moments so you can build something eternal. It's skipping sleep so you can work. Skipping comfort so you can condition your mind. Skipping popularity so you can protect your focus. The world isn't built for those sacrifices. That's why few make them. That's why few ever rise beyond average. Because the price for greatness is paid in full, in advance, every single day. There's a reason only a handful make it to the top. It's not just about skill. It's about what you're willing to let die so something greater can live. You say you want it. Okay, then what are you willing to bury? Are you willing to bury the old version of you? The lazy version, the insecure one, the one who needs approval? Are you willing to bury the excuses, the blame, the fear? Because those things can't come with you. They don't get a seat at the table. The table of greatness is reserved for the few who sacrifice to sit there. Most people want breakthrough without breaking anything. They want success but want to keep their bad habits. They want to be seen as disciplined but live like victims. That's not how this game works. You want to be uncommon, then your sacrifices must be uncommon. Your decisions must be painful. You must choose the hard way on purpose. You must give up what you want now for what you want most. That's sacrifice. That's where the fire lives. That's where the power builds. Every morning you wake up with a decision. What will I give up today to move forward? Because if the answer is nothing, then don't expect everything. You can't get to the top holding on to things that weigh you down. And those things might not even be bad. Sometimes they're just average. Sometimes they're just normal. But that's the most dangerous place. When good becomes the enemy of great. When comfort becomes the trap that slows the beast down. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break limits, to shatter ceilings. And that doesn't happen without sacrifice. You've got to be willing to out-suffer them, out-discipline them, out-sacrifice them. That's how the gap is created. That's how you separate. When they quit early, you keep going. When they celebrate too soon, you keep working. When they compromise, you stay locked in. Because every time you choose sacrifice over comfort, you're building a gap between you and everyone else. A gap so wide they can't catch you. A gap so real it becomes legacy. Sacrifice isn't seasonal. It's not temporary. It's a lifestyle. It's waking up with a mission and going to sleep with progress. It's doing the same things over and over and over again. Even when they stop being fun, even when they stop being new. It's pushing through boredom, fatigue, and doubt. Sacrifice is what keeps the dream alive when motivation disappears. Sacrifice is what makes sure your actions match your ambition. You want the spotlight, but can you survive the shadows? Can you grind when nobody's looking? Can you stay hungry when nobody's watching? That's the test. That's what sacrifice asks. Because if you can't suffer without recognition, you'll never survive success. Sacrifice trains your spirit to handle what's coming. It humbles you before the platform. It prepares you before the reward. And that's why the ones who sacrifice deeply always last longer than the ones who just perform. They're rooted. They're built different. They've died to the old self so many times, there's nothing left but purpose. And purpose is what wakes you up at 3 a.m. to work. Purpose is what tells you it's not enough. Purpose is what makes you walk away from people who don't believe, from habits that don't serve, from environments that don't stretch you. Because the moment you taste purpose, nothing else satisfies. And that's why you sacrifice, not because you have to, but because you refuse to live anything less than your full potential. You've got to want the result more than the comfort. You've got to want growth more than validation. You've got to want the vision more than you want the weekend. And when you finally decide that your dream is worth everything, your time, your energy, your habits, your circle, then you'll understand what greatness has always required. Not talent, not luck. Sacrifice, everybody talks about success like it's magic, like it's mystery, like there's some invisible key only a few people get to hold. But here's the truth, there's no mystery. There's no secret. It's not about who you know or where you're from or how lucky you got. The difference between the ones who get it and the ones who don't is simple. It's discipline. Discipline is the separator. Discipline is the gatekeeper. Discipline is the wall between dreams and results. You can want it. You can pray for it. You can cry about it. But until you develop discipline, you'll always fall short. Discipline isn't flashy. It's not exciting. It doesn't come with applause. Nobody sees it. Nobody claps for it. Nobody's posting it online. But it's the foundation of everything. You want to build something that lasts. You want results that compound. You want a mindset that doesn't shake under pressure. Then you need discipline, because motivation will leave you. Excitement fades, hype dies, but discipline, that stays. Discipline shows up when you're tired. Discipline shows up when you're frustrated. Discipline does the work even when the mood is gone. It's easy to be hyped when it's January 1st and the music's playing and your goals are fresh. But what happens when it's February and the energy's gone? What happens when it's raining outside, when the scale doesn't move, when the business is slow, when no one's texting back, when the process gets boring? That's where discipline steps in. That's where most people drop off because they never built the muscle of discipline. They were riding momentum, not mastering consistency. And that's why they fold. That's why they disappear. But the disciplined ones, they thrive in the monotony. They get stronger in the silence. Discipline is doing what has to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up before the sun because your goals demand it. It's hitting the gym when your body says no. It's studying while others party. It's building when others rest. It's shutting out the noise and staying focused on the mission, not once, not sometimes, but every single day. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline isn't about how to motion, it's about commitment. And if you only work when it feels good, you'll never be great. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your discipline. That's the truth. Your potential is irrelevant without action. Your dreams don't matter if they're not backed by habits. Stop thinking about how talented you are. Stop thinking about how gifted you are. That means nothing without discipline. Talent without discipline is wasted. Potential without discipline is fiction. You don't earn greatness from hope. You earn it from repetition, from sacrifice, from showing up when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's inconvenient. People think discipline is punishment. That's the problem. You hear the word and think about what you have to give up. You think about what you're missing out on. But discipline isn't restriction, it's freedom. It's the path to control, to power, to peace. Discipline gives you options. Discipline gives you strength. Discipline puts you in a position where you choose your future instead of reacting to it. You either suffer the pain of discipline or you suffer the pain of regret. One pain is temporary. The other is forever. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never slipping. It's about being so locked in, so grounded in your standards that even when you fall, you get back up quick. You don't spiral. You don't lose weeks. You don't wait until Monday to start over. You get back in the fight immediately. That's discipline. That's what separates the people who finish from the people who fade. The discipline don't just start strong. They stay strong. They stay committed. They stay locked in when the lights are off, when no one's watching, when it's just them and the grind. You have to make a decision to become that person. The person who doesn't negotiate with the alarm clock. The person who doesn't explain away inconsistency. The person who doesn't wait for the mood to be right. Discipline means your standards are higher than your feelings. It means your routine runs deeper than your emotions. It means your actions are tied to vision, not mood. Most people wait to feel ready. But the ones who win, they act despite how they feel. That's why they move faster. That's why they grow more. That's why they don't fall apart every time something goes wrong. You think the top performers always feel inspired. You think they always feel strong. No, they just have habits that don't ask for permission. Their routines are automatic. They don't need motivation because they've replaced motivation with structure. They've trained their body and mind to move regardless of how the world feels around them. That's not talent. That's not magic. That's not genetics. That's years of discipline. That's sweat. That's blood. That's sacrifice. That's the grind when no one sees it. That's the alarm clock no one claps for. That's the reps no one posts. That's the inner war no one knows about. And that's where the difference is made. You want to level up. Then you need to build rituals that create results. Rituals that make success automatic. You need a structure so strong it survives stress. A system so powerful it survives chaos. Because storms will come. Pressure will come. Setbacks will come. And when they do, it's not your motivation that will save you. It's your discipline. It's the work you've already done. It's the habits you've already built. It's the decision you already made that this is who you are now. Discipline is identity. It's not just something you do. It's something you are. You're disciplined because you said you would be. You made a choice. And every day you reaffirm the choice. I show up. The way you work, the way you move. You don't need hype. You don't need validation. You don't need a crowd because you're not doing it for applause. You're doing it for the future you. The version of you that's stronger, sharper, unstoppable. The version of you that only becomes real when you decide to own every step, every rep, every hour. It's time to stop chasing quick wins. It's time to stop waiting to feel right. It's time to stop living at the mercy of your moods. Discipline is how you take control. Discipline is how you take your power back. It's the bridge between the life you have and the one you say you want. Nothing stands taller than a man or woman who has trained themselves to show up no matter what, to lock in no matter what, to execute no matter what. Because once you build that version of you, nothing can break you. Not time, not failure, not critics, not pain. Because you've already outlasted them in your mind. You've already overcome them in your habits. You've already buried them in your discipline. You say you want it, but wanting it isn't enough. The world's full of people who want it. What separates the few from the many isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't background. It's obsession, it's sacrifice, it's discipline. It's that relentless decision to grind, to suffer, to focus, to bleed for something bigger than comfort. You don't become a beast by dreaming. You become a beast by doing. Every single day, every single rep, every single hour, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when your body's breaking, but your mind is unshaken. You can talk about goals. You can write them down. You can wear the gear, repost the quotes, say the right things. But in the end, it's your habits that define you. It's your choices in pain. It's what you're willing to endure in the dark for a future you believe in so much. You're willing to go broke for it, go lonely for it, go mad for it. The ones who rise aren't the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who refused to quit when it stopped being cute. They kept going when it got brutal. They became obsessed, and obsession made them uncommon. This is not about being motivated. This is about becoming untouchable, unbreakable, unstoppable. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to be reminded what they're chasing because they are the chase. They don't wait for opportunity. They become the opportunity. They don't talk about potential. They become the standard, the few, the rare, the relentless. That's what you came here for. That's who you're becoming. And that's why they'll never forget your name.